He just, as a child, was left to his own devices in some ways. And
would you say his love language is?
He loves hugs.
Yep. You got that more from Mom, but yeah, he likes to be hugged.
And words of affirmation. I would say going up to
That he wants to feel valued.
Motivation through movement to get acknowledgement. The passion is just so many things. Being out in nature and challenging myself is a huge part of it. You know, some people like to move slow and like just soak in the views. For me, in order to have a full experience in nature, there's this element of like pushing myself to my own best against whatever the obstacle or challenge is that part of nature presents. Part of the experience is going through the process of both training and being ready for that and experiencing that and coming out the other end. I like to say you can only teach what you become. You can only teach what you learn. And so I do what I do in part because it gives me permission to tell my students, hey, I'm just some kid from some small town and I'm out chasing really big things that are in line with what I care about in the world. And so if I can do it, you can do it. I don't know why I started collecting them. Would have been early high school. I just started hanging the numbers on the wall in my room. And then when I became a teacher, it sort of made sense to hang them up in a place where it might start a conversation with a student about life and decisions and racing and running and fitness and health.
Sitting out on that step out there, I remember one time that he was just maybe 2. He took off and he ran down the sidewalk and he tripped and he fell and he hit his head, and the cement leaves those little waffle marks. No big deal. He gets up, we hold him, cries a little bit. Pretty soon, okay, I'm fine. He gets up, goes out, he runs down there again, does the same thing. He did it 3 times before I finally realized that he's probably not gonna stop that.
He was very energetic. They teasingly called him the Energizer Bunny at school. And yes, lots of energy and impulsive and challenging to parent.
Jason was ADHD, and the good thing was that Mom's heart was out for him, and she was always doing something to make it where it would work.
My dad had trouble dealing with me because he kind of grew up in a hard childhood, and so he had a lot of difficulty dealing with a kid that couldn't, remember and listen and follow directions easily. And so he would often take my brother places and leave me behind. A lot of families do that, but as a little kid, it was really tough to decode and interpret that.
he just, as a child, was left to his own devices in some ways, and I think that he did have to entertain himself a lot, and he did have to work through a lot of feelings, and he got in trouble a lot just because he's just into everything. He can't stop moving.
So I think there's this motivation through movement to get acknowledgement. That played into why I would choose a goal like to break a 6-minute mile. In middle school, I sort of realized maybe it was possible. I was running maybe somewhere around 6:20 at the time, so now I can look back and be like, that's a pretty decent amount of time to take off. That's no easy mark. And then it came to the final PE mile of the year. I remember going out hard and running with these few people, and they're kind of like falling off one after the other. And I can remember that moment as I stepped across the line. The teacher read off 5:57. I just flopped into the grass, and pain everywhere, but also just like so satisfied with what I'd just done. Then from there, it just sort of solidified this like goal setting mindset. And I just kept pursuing the next goal. You know, okay, I want to run in high school. I want to run on varsity in high school. I want to go to state.
I think when he sees kids who are having trouble, he sees a bit of himself in that, and he knows athletics, exploration, moving your body, how big of a difference that can make.
All right, see the big white goal down there with my stuff?
Yeah.
Run and meet me there. Let's go, Kingston. And brace. And go ahead and lay down flat on the ground. Go ahead and put a hand on your heart. Is it beating fast or slow?
Fast.
Fast. What does that mean?
We're getting stronger.
We're getting stronger.
So then what is the big ultimate goal?
The ultimate goal? Hint. Yeah, I want to be the first person to get 100 FKTs.
So an FKT, or fastest known time, is essentially the fastest time established on a route. There is a website that is the governing source of all these FKTs. If you feel that a route is worthy of an FKT or if it's inspiring, then you can submit that to be approved for an FKT route. Or otherwise, there's already hundreds of routes on there that have been approved that people have been chasing after for years, especially some of the more classic routes. The website is run by Peter and Buzz, who've ran it for years. They're the ones who ultimately approve your route or your FKT.
Wow, Peter and I met many moons ago. Was it at Leadville? And then I think it was the year 2000, we went for the John Muir Trail record together. So we kind of put the multi-day trail racing thing on the map.
We didn't really care about terminology until I actually created a little website to keep track. And the website had to be called something, so I called it Fastest Known Time.
With racing, you race something and then you have to wait until the next year to do it again. And it has to be on that day under those certain conditions. Whereas an FKT is a lot different. You can do it any time of the year under whatever conditions are most favorable and when you're feeling the most fit.
There are routes from the 1 mile all the way to the Pacific Crest Trail, which is 2,800 miles.
You have to have some sort of sense of adventure to want to go out and just do this, whether it's, you know, something that's 10 miles or something that's 1,000 miles. One of the best things is like knowing that you are the fastest person that's ever covered that trail. That feels pretty good.
I think by nature, fastest known time means that you wanted to compare how you did to someone else. We're choosing to make it competitive.
It's making everyone better, and it's rearranging what we think is possible.
Jason's done some stout routes. For example, Rainier Infinity, and going over the summit of Rainier twice by yourself. You use the first person to bring attention to things like that. And then someone else comes along later and goes faster. Fair enough. And that's how the game's played.
It offers athletes with a number of different skill sets opportunities to go be the best at something. Ultimately, like, FKT attempts aren't always super glamorous.
Running's hard. Like, even when running feels easy, it's still hard.
Often you're by yourself.
The weather can easily kind of derail your plan.
Lots of hallucination. My hallucinations and I are great friends.
I mean, all it takes is like one gender reveal party gone wrong and boom, the forest is on fire.
And then not to mention like blister, hot spots on your feet, things like that can start to compound.
When you're out there by yourself, you like really have to commit, know what you're up against and know the challenges that you might encounter. And even if things don't go right, if like weather isn't right or conditions aren't exactly what you thought, you just have to go for it.
I don't think you ever finish one the same as you started one. Like, you always learn something about yourself, or you learn that you can push just a little bit harder, or you learn that you can work through these mental challenges, or whatever it may be.
And Jason's not the fastest, just pure runner by any stretch, but he has a lot of skills that many, many runners don't.
In 2015, got in a rollover accident in my car and couldn't run anymore. You know, one of the first things a doctor said to me after the accident, it was like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to let that part of your life go probably. You know, that was kind of a low moment, but also a moment where that spirit of defiance kind of popped out. Like, you don't know me, you just wait. Over the course of this, like, I'm doing the rehab to get this ability to run back, to rebuild my body, and the running started to come back. So I just kept building these skills, and then I was like, well, okay, I can now climb technical peaks. Let's start climbing technical peaks and running in between them. I didn't even know what FKTs were until 3 years ago. But does this feel like a reasonable way to spend a few years of my life? Absolutely. And then I kept making progress with this FKT 75 and 85, and pretty soon people started asking, what are you gonna do for 100? And I hadn't really thought about it because I'm just out doing stuff I love, right? I'm just a kid playing on playgrounds. And then it was like, well, maybe I should do something kind of cool for number 100.
Jason is at number 99 right now. Now he's going for the Bulgers, which is an odd term for the highest 100 summits in Washington State. He could have done all kinds of different things for his 100th FKT, but a little bit of poetic justice, he's going for the 100 highest summits for his 100th FKT.
The current FKT on the Bulgers 100 is about 410 days. What he's doing is not something that you can just get off the couch and, you know, I'm gonna follow the trail to the top of this. You gotta know how to use crampons and ice axe and not fall into a crevasse and die.
You know, it's not the bold move. It's not the dive across the finish line. It's every single day for 50 days, don't mess up.
This is gonna be quite likely, it may be the hardest thing when push comes to shove and it's all added up, the hardest thing I've ever done. All I know is I'm excited, I'm stoked, I'm ready to be climbing my first mountain, doing the thing I want to do. Thank you.
To get my bag organized.
I started this silly process of I'm gonna do 100 FKTs, and I've called it silly from the very beginning, but if you can find the meaning in the most silly thing, then it really wasn't silly and it really wasn't meaningless.
Casual.
Oh my goodness, just gonna go climb some mountains. Life is gonna be so simple for a while. Let's do it. Just slow it down. Navigation settings.
With my mind that's like bouncing all over the place, when I'm out pushing hard, it's clear and clean and quiet, and there's like one objective.
All right, Windy Peak up ahead. Cathedral poking into the clouds. Nathan Longhurst, Amphitheater, Rimmel. Beautiful views. Yeah! Windy Peak, Bulger number 1. On the top of Bulger number 2. Bulger number 3. We are socked in. This will be fun. That is Bulger number 4. It's been a long day. Stuff didn't quite go according to plan.
There's that, ability to sustain yourself for a long period of time in a really rugged place. And that requires, there's like a pretty robust sense of self to be able to sit with yourself and kind of wrestle with yourself.
There she is, Mount Stewart. I am on top of Mount Stewart, on the summit of Sherpa. All of that next. This is Argonaut. on Kolchak right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're on the summit of Dragon Tail. 19 hours and 12 minutes and not even back to the car yet.
You know, like I think that quality exists in each of us, but we often just are silencing that in layers of fear and anxiety, and reasons start piling up of why you can't. It takes a lot of burrowing to get to why you can't.
Oh man, this thing's so much bigger. It's like not even, it's order of magnitude difference, but it's like I knew that's what I was signing up for. Like merging the process of doing like a long trail with all the logistics that go into mountains and skills that go into mountains and rock climbing, and then just like the physicality of like big multi-day ultra type efforts. Yeah, definitely big.
It's like the story of the monarch butterfly migration. These butterflies come from Morelia in Mexico and take 3 generations to get to Canada every year. And once they make it there, they produce the 4th generation, which is a much stronger butterfly, and that butterfly gets to fly all the way back to Mexico in one flight. Does that apply to athletes? I think so. I think there are athletes out there that are like breaking new ground, and sometimes you don't realize it or see it, and maybe 100 years down the road, it'll make more sense.
I'm lucky because I think I started from a framework of having to like truly find my own way and my own passion for why I was doing what I was doing.
Yeah, it kind of comes from inside him. He's just really likes to accomplish things.
If your kids found out or know about you doing this, like what do you want their takeaway to be?
I want them to be inspired that if this crazy gym teacher that they have can go out and climb 100 mountains because he loves climbing mountains, then they can do whatever it is they love to the same degree. Dorado needle. This was one of the big, hard ones on my list because of that summit crux. All right, getting ready for the Chilliwax. You can see the spread here. Trying to get calories organized because we got to catch the boat in the morning.
Yeah, because the Canadian border is closed, and that's where the main access to these Washington bulgers are for the Chilliwax. It turns this into a full-blown expedition with no contact, no cell reception, no resupply. Normally, if the Canadian border was open, it would be a pretty casual trail walk to get in from the trailhead there. But yeah, instead, Epic bushwhack in, epic bushwhack out.
What did we just do? Oh, we just got through the Silver Creek bushwhack. We've got the head wall up ahead.
How was it?
It was really hard. There were a ton of mosquitoes, but that's not why it's just, this was such a big crux to this whole project. And now look at this. We're in the Chilliwax.
It's about 5:30 in the morning. We're gonna go climb some mountains today.
We have traversed from Rum, and we are on top of Custer. We are on the tallest peak of the Chilliwax right now. Spickard. This is peak number 90. Peak number 90 out of 100. Peak number 90. Yes! Woo! Woo! Look at this. Some mountain blueberries. We have bushwhacked down from the Chilliwax, and we've made it to a trail.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, that tired, beat up type 2 kind of fun, probably. We were on Shuckson this morning. Boop, there's the top.
There we go. That's how that should fit.
You're such a turd. A little bit of worry just about the traversing over to Little Tahoma, but also this thing's actually coming together. It's been a lot. When he got out of the Chilliwax was really when it was like, wow, this is real. All of the hard stuff is done.
Here we are, clipped in at what was the crux.
And then now it's like, this is the last hard push.
It's already recording.
We're doing it Himalaya style.
Goodbye. Up to the summit of Mount Rainier. I am suffering.
It's hard to say, what exactly he does during his low points because he's so good at managing them himself.
It's always a struggle to keep the balance of others' thoughts of you and expectations of you in balance with your own passion, with your own experience, with your own desires, your own inner voice that's telling you what you should and shouldn't do.
Here we are driving to Mount Adams.
Peak number 99.
Peak number 99. Look at this. Normally this is all snow and this would be climbed. And here is the summit marker. I'm now getting pelted by hail. Woohoo!
And just the idea of coming down this final descent and just like, no conservation, let loose, open it up, empty the tanks, feel like a runner again, race the clock, just pound into the finish line, breathing hard, knees aching, body on the edge of exploding, cross the finish line, and done. Like that's the moment that I've been kind of like looking forward to, and so it's like that's kind of what today is about.
All right, here we go, last one.
When he was a sophomore in high school, he came to me and sat down and he said, "Dad, I need to talk to you." And he looked like he was real concerned. He said, "You love football?" And I go, "Yeah." "And I know you love football, and so I've been trying to do football, but Dad, I'd like to run cross country." And I go, "Well, why don't you?"
How was it?
Excellent. Faster than expected.
He thought, "Oh, you don't care?"
Yeah.
"Oh, I care, but I care about is that you find who you are and what you need to do." He could just about do anything that he sets his mind to, and I think if you spend time with him, you probably already know that. I am really proud that Jason was my son and that I had an opportunity to be his father.
Here he comes.
That's a send. Yeah, who wants to go climb some mountains?
And they said it was impossible. He found a way to get it done. He did it. He won't stop. That's the beautiful thing about him.
100 peaks. Right now, I genuinely feel like I want to go play or do something. Once I get comfortable, that'll change.
Maybe.
I don't know. The little kid in me has always been a fighter. Like the like can't go to bed, kind of little kid. No, gotta play more, gotta think more, gotta create more, gotta goof off more. So it's like now this thing, it's like, no, we can't be done. We gotta go. There's something we can go do. I can feel that. That's the only reason I can think that I, was able to do a project like this is that's in there. The insatiable little kid.